Now I gotta ride or die.
Channel, guys. Today you join me from the driver's seat of a 2012 Seat Ibiza FR. So this is the 2-litre TDI version with a 6-speed manual box, but it has had some mapping done. Over 200 horsepower in this thing, 450 Nm torque. But we will get on to some fancy B roads. Make sure you like today's video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. I've also mentioned it's got 186,000 miles on this thing. Insane. But let's go and find some B roads, see what this car is all about. So, 2012 Seat Ibiza FR, so a 2-litre diesel variant with the manual box. Now, a few things to talk about straight away. You want to own this car, maybe you're watching this video trying to understand it a bit more. I like my VAG stuff, so I've dealt a lot in TDIs. I've owned this TDI engine in what is the equivalent A3 of this generation, so I sort of know what they're capable of. 140 horsepower from factory, about 320 Nm, but as I've already said, this one is mapped up, so it's actually got an EGR delete and a stage 1 map. Rolled at 200.7, I think it was, brake horsepower at 450 Nm of torque. So, third gear, over, yeah, 16. But very, very good talking point straight away. The mapping potential of this car is pretty biblical, if I'm honest. With a simple map and, you know, a bit of fettling here and there, it has turned it into something that's genuinely surprisingly fast. Like, I was genuinely surprised when I picked this up from the guys at the garage. Again, massive thanks to those guys. They have let me, you know, have free reign in this car while we don't have the M4. So second gear, 30 miles an hour, wheel spin, wheel spin, wheel spin, and 60. So that does show these are very easy to get more power out of. So if you want a little bit more power, this is a pretty good platform to start with. Now, interesting things to talk about with this car if you do want to own it. They're about $3,000 for a nice one, maybe $5,000 for a really nice one. One with 186,000 miles, I know, bit of a, you know, ballpark understanding of, you know, let's say 2 to 3 on this one, because it has been very well maintained. It was actually driven by a surgeon, I think, from the Isle of Wight to Leeds for pretty much most of the first part of its life. So that's where pretty much every single mile of this car has come. But really, really nice to relay back to you guys. It's had a clutch, it's had a few things, but nothing too crazy. It's still obviously running the original 2-litre TDI engine that it came out of the factory with. Just get a bit of first gear, wheel spin, wheel spin, wheel spin, wheel spin. But yeah, it's had a lot of miles thrown on it. In fact, it's pretty much motorway miles. There's no bolster wear, there's no wear pretty much anywhere in the car, no steering wheel wear either, so you could pretty much easily think that this was under 100,000 miles, this car, very easily. But these sorts of cars, you know, the VAG group, they do, if you look after them, of course, put miles on these cars with pretty much no effort. So that's that bit out of the way. The FR though, what is the FR? So this is the 2-litre TDI variant, as I've already said. The best one, or the best version, I suppose. 4-door, so if you've got a family, fantastic. I mean, it's got my baby seat in the back of it because I am daily driving this car at the moment. I've done around 100 miles on it, so I wanted to, you know, get a good understanding of this car before I made a video on it. Easy to get kids in, 2 kids, yes. Pram does just fit in the boot. I have 2 prams. Look at me go now. Got 2 prams. One collapses down. It just fits sideways. The other one, way too big. Can't get it in the car. So, something to think about. It has, I would say, polo sizing to it, this thing. But if you do need to carry a lot of stuff, you might want to level up into maybe a Leon or, you know, Golf A3 variant. But back to this car. It has been actually a genuine pleasure to do some mileage on this thing. It's comfy. It's very, very good around corners, if I'm honest. These 17-inch wheels that the FRs come on, it has Bridgestones on the front of it. So although we're getting wheel spin today, it's slightly, you know, drizzly outside. It still does a very good job of putting the power down. You know, 450 Newton meters of torque through any car is, front-wheel drive especially, is hard. It is hard on the car to actually put the power down, but it does a very good job in the dry. So light on its feet, this car, 1,245 kilos these come at. So this one, a 200 horsepower version, you can understand where I'm starting to come from, where it's actually quite sprightly with slightly stiffened suspension on the FRs and again 17-inch wheels. It sort of creates a hot hatch vibe, this thing. But currently, actually, I've been doing a lot of town, you know, no motorway, no crazy, you know, long road like we're doing at the moment. Still doing 44 mpg. This has seen, and I've seen it, at just touching 70 mpg. Even with stage 1 mapping, a little bit more power, it's still getting them fantastic mpg figures. Get just under 600 miles in the range as well, which I do believe. I jumped in this with over half a tank in it, and it was showing just shy of 300 miles, so I do believe that is correct. Styling wise, the FR comes with, you know, the wheels. It comes with a better looking set of bumpers on it, sort of like the Cupra, bit more bulged out, couple more vents, and a slight diffuser in the back, which is pretty cool. Something that the Cupra doesn't have though is a 5-door variant. The FR does, so if you're after a 5-door one, the FR is a shout. But talking point, ready for this? There is no manual box available in the petrol variant of this car. It's only a DSG sequential thingy. So if you do want a manual, this 6-speed manual is fantastic, by the way, made it to the diesel engine. You can only get it in the diesel variant, which is slightly odd. And from the ownership side, insurance group 22, so pretty cheap to insure, if I'm honest. And it's 135 quid a year to tax this thing because it is so economical. But I think as an all-round bit of fun, small hot hatch, this ticks every single box. The only thing I've been stumped with is size, I suppose, but you'd probably go for a Leon if you were that bothered. I don't know if you would be that bothered if you wanted something a little bit smaller. You were looking at polos, say, and one of these come up, you would sort of look into this a little bit more. 2 kids, me and the missus, you know, all our stuff, it is at maximum capacity, so include that into your thinking process of actually getting one of these. If you do have a larger family, probably better to size up. But I must say, it is a riot, this thing, with a couple of, like, a little bit of mapping. It is a little rocket ship, this thing, and it retains some hefty MPG figures, and it's got 186,000 miles. We'll circle back to this. This is a little car. Like, I know mileage is mileage, but it's done a very good job of being this nice to drive still. It is tight. The steering is very, very good. It is soft as well as compliant through the corners. So if you want something that does both, you can take kids to school. You ain't going to break the bank, this car. And it gives you a little bit of sporty flair without being, you know, an all out and out legitimate hot hatch race car. This is one hell of a little car. I am genuinely impressed. Like, cars impress me, and some cars really impress me. And this is one of those cars. Yes, I do feel like you need to map it up. Yes, I do feel like you need to change a lot of things. It's had a lot of things change, you know. It's had a clutch, it's had this, it's had that. It's been maintained properly. But if you keep it maintained properly, the final figure is just a fantastic little car. The perfect car for Britain, this is. Easy to get into, there's enough of them out there. They're cheap, reliable, it is powerful if you want it to be. It has more than enough room to get your family in all day long. And I don't think it looks too bad. You know, there's other cars out there these days, and I look at them and think, that's a bit funky looking. Whereas this, I think it looks right. The FR, I think, looks right. The bumpers, the wheels, the red paint today. It just looks the part. So I'd say if you're after a mild hot hatch daily, you want a manual box, but you want a diesel engine, the FR is probably up there with one of the cars you should definitely go and look at. I am genuinely, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, so surprised at this car. It is literally done everything bar a big pram and maybe a massive shop, or you want to go to, I don't know, what's the most dad thing I'd say? Centre Parks. You're going to go to Centre Parks. It's probably not the car you want to go with 2 kids in, but as a daily little car to just shoot round in. I mean, I've been using this all week for shoots, you know, doing, you know, various little bits and bobs. I haven't stumped it yet, and that is such a good thing, because in my daily life, sometimes you're going over speed bumps and you go in here and you go in there, you're pretty all over the place. There's stuff in the car, there isn't stuff in the car, there's shopping in the car, there's just me in the car. It needs to sort of do everything, and this has been just fantastic. So hats off to Seat. You know, this is a VW and Audi product, don't get me wrong, a VW product especially, but it is doing just a fantastic job of ticking all of the boxes. So with that, guys, I'm going to end today's video there. Thank you so much for watching. If you do have a car you want me to shoot for the channel, please let me know. Give me a message on Instagram, Facebook, all of the social media platforms. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.